Welcome back to the Ivos. It's me, Vincent here, and She-Hulk episode 1 to 8 is now streaming on Disney Plus. And I know I haven't broken it down, and I'm sorry for that. But She-Hulk episode 8 has ended with the most tease of excitement for some fans, in the fact that it ended with She-Hulk being exposed with all the things that she's been doing in the episodes, exposed to the real public world, and it ends with no real villain confirmed. So in this video, I'm going to explain who could be the potential villains for the story. Would there be a final battle like it was in like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or will it be like a type of resolution vibe like Miss Marvel was? I'm going to do my own series, but before I do that, can you pause for a minute, subscribe, and comment down your own series for who you think the She-Hulk main villain is. And with that, let's begin. So obviously most people are believing, I am also on the side of this series, that the leader is the main villain of the story. However, there's some parts of me that doesn't really believe that, because if the leader was really the villain usually the villain kind of sets his plan in motion maybe in the middle half of the series. This is a 9-episode series, so roughly half it down, episode 4 or maybe episode 5 could have been the time that the real villain, the leader, could have appeared to show to the fans that he is the main villain of the story. However, it's confirmed by D23 and by Marvel that the leader actor Tim Blake Nelson will be continuing his character from in the Incredible Hulk movie in Captain America New World Order. And I guess you could do a villain for a show that translates into a movie. Maybe it's their way of saying that She-Hulk is going to be in Captain America and the villain will appear in She-Hulk, and the villain will will go over to Captain America New World Order, with She-Hulk also going over to Captain America New World Order. If that's where they're going with it, then I don't mind if the leader is the villain, because at the end the leader probably won't be defeated, because we all know that he'll come back in Captain America New World Order, right? And She-Hulk, if that ends with the leader being the villain of She-Hulk, She-Hulk has a potential chance to be in Captain America New World Order. So in that case, I understand why the leader would be it. I also think the leader could be the villain, but not the main villain, like a secret villain that is undercover in a sense. I believe also that Todd could be the villain of the story. However, I don't believe that Todd will become a Hulk. So my theory, from what Jamila Jamil said, she said that she got to work with Tim Roth, she got to work with Titania Maslany, which she did in one of the episodes. She got to work with Mark Ruffalo, and we saw the photos, the behind the scenes photos of them there. So it gave me a slight chance that Titania will be the one that goes and does the final battle with She-Hulk. And I'm believing from the trailer, Abomination is going to turn into Abomination, and Emil Blonsky will transform and will also join Titania in this. That's why the relation of Jamila Jamil saying that she got to work with Tim Roth gets to come back in here. She also said that she got to work with Mark Ruffalo, and I didn't think if they do this to the Hulk, then by all means it's gonna be a joke for me. But if Mark Ruffalo doesn't return in the last episode, then by all means, I'm not sure what I'll say to the Hulk fans of the Marvel Universe. But I believe that Mark Ruffalo will also return as Hulk in the final episode also. I think what may happen at the end is that Mark Ruffalo, this show is going to set up Captain America New World Order as well as setting up for a World War Hulk type of storyline in the MCU. If Mark Ruffalo doesn't come back in the main show, but maybe comes into like a post-credit scene, then that's still okay for me. It just makes sense that because she is your cousin, and she's going through this issue now, that I think that you should come back, and help her out also. So I believe that the Hulk will return. I believe that Todd is one of the main villains. I think that Todd is maybe working for Titania, because Titania, she's quite jealous of She-Hulk because of how popular She-Hulk is, right? And Titania wants the popularity. She lost against a case with She-Hulk over a brand of makeup, and come on, I think I think there will be a type of final battle here, maybe between She-Hulk and Titania. If it isn't, then I don't see She-Hulk fighting anyone in the final battle except for Titania, unless, as She-Hulk herself stated in the episode 8 at the ending, it's gonna be a Red Hulk. Now we know that the actor William Hurt that played, Ross, General Ross, I know they passed away, rest in peace. And we did hear rumours recently of Harrison Ford taking over the character. And if that is the case, then yeah, by all means, he could be the main villain of the story. It's just that it will come out of nowhere that Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk and he's the villain of the story. It just wouldn't make sense. Like, if it was in the Thunderbolts movie, that's fine. But if he appears as the main villain and then, it's just quite dry. Like, Moon Knight, the good thing about Moon Knight is that the villain was already, confirmed. Ethan Hawke was playing the villain, and we knew he was a villain from the beginning of the Moon Knight series. Miss Marvel, I don't think they really had a villain per se. Had the clandestines, and that's basically it. And then they died. Then we were left with the DODC, and that's it. So Miss Marvel, in a sense, also didn't really have a threat that Miss Marvel had to, kill to really become the hero. Like, check it out. Not even Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange didn't really kill his villain, in a sense. You could say that in Iron Man, the villain died, and that all led to the hero Iron Man becoming a hero. Captain America kind of, in a sense, killed Red Skull, but he came back. That type of sense. You could also say that maybe, I'm not sure, some of the movies that Marvel have done in the past, where the villain is there and is introduced in the movie at the beginning and they die. Those are the type of villains that I kind of wanted to know who they would be in these series. Like, WandaVision, it was Agatha, and at least we got a final battle in that sense. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was the bad crew. I don't know what they call themselves, but it was a crew. And then in Loki, we had, Kang. Kang was introduced as the villain. Like, there wasn't any final battle per se, but Kang was the villain, and it was teased and introduced in that show. Then we had, What If, with Ultravision being the main villain. Then Hawkeye, we had Kingpin be the real villain. We had Shang-Chi, where the father, the Mandarin, was the real villain. We had Eternals, which at this point I don't even know if they were really villains or heroes. And yeah. So if you I hope you understand my point here, that in these Marvel shows, some of the villains are teased in the first half of the season. In She-Hulk, we begin this 9th episode season not knowing who the real threat will be, till they say the Intellengincia could be a threat. But in the Marvel comics, the Intelligentsia is a vast, is loads of people. You could say that the leader could be the villain, but then we've not seen him. So if he is the villain of the story, who's She-Hulk gonna fight if we haven't seen the villain of the story? In the Hawkeye finale, we didn't see Hawkeye fight Kingpin. We saw Hawkeye fight Yelena. And saw Kate Bishop, in a sense, fight Kingpin, in a sense. I guess you could say Hawkeye did fight Kingpin. Moon Knight, we knew the villain. Miss Marvel, we kind of knew the villain. Till we didn't, because there was no villain at the end, because the villain of the story died before the finale. Then, and I guess, in a sense, maybe because they're going to resolve that in the Marvels coming next year. So if that's the case, then yeah, by all means, that's fine, that's cool. She-Hulk comes and we don't know the villain. They tease the villain Titania in the first episode. She comes back. I really assume that the real villain of the story is going to be Titania, and that Todd is working for Titania for She-Hulk's blood, so Titania can be very strong and be popular. That's what I'm believing. However, I heard some rumours, and I'm not sure it's true, that Liv Tyler from Incredible Hulk could be returning and maybe reprising the role as Betty Ross, aka Red She-Hulk. Now, I heard it like 2-3 years ago that she would be reprising her role in this show, And those rumors are probably coming to be, wrong, to be debunked. I believe, though, from the rumor I heard earlier, that Liv Tyler could be reprising her role as Betty Ross, as Red She-Hulk in Captain America New World Order. And if that's the case, the leader could be working with Betty Ross, with her blood, linking things together. You see, it all works out together. When people are saying that we need a new actor for Red Hulk, we don't really need that. We don't really need that. We can get Harrison Ford being General Ross, but we don't need him to be Red Hulk. We can have Liv Tyler be Red She-Hulk in the movie. And I don't even think that the leader will really be the real threat of Captain America New World Order. Because if the leader is going to be making many Hulks, I believe that one of the Hulks could be Red She-Hulk by Liv Tyler playing. Could be many other Hulks, And that makes me think that She-Hulk and maybe the Hulk could be back in that movie also, which could set up a World War Hulk storyline in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whether it's a Disney Plus series or whether it's a movie. And some are preferring it to be a movie. I wouldn't mind it to be a Disney Plus series as long as it stays to the true comics and if it, vibes well. Like, I don't mind these TV shows that Marvel have done, but when it comes to the villains, they never really confirm it to the very end. And some of them, they don't really have a villain. Miss Marvel didn't really have a villain. They had police. And at that, that's something else. She-Hulk. My only villain that I'm thinking of is Titania. And at the end, get a tease for the leader. Unless the leader has been making a Red She-Hulk and Liv Tyler does come back in the finale. But even at that, that's quite lame to confirm the villain in the final episode. Even that post-credit scene saying that the leader has, taken Betty Ross's blood, pumped in She-Hulk's blood in her, made her Red She-Hulk, and that's what they have to fight in the finale, then yeah, at least you teased it in the post-credit scene of the episode. We had no post-credit scene at the end of that episode, meaning that we're going into the finale we're going blind into this story, into this finale, hoping that it is Titania, hoping it is someone else. People think that it's Todd. I agree that it's Todd that's the villain, but I don't think that Todd is the main villain that She-Hulk will have to deal with, because I've heard rumors also early today that the DODC could be the villain of the She-Hulk, and if that's the case, then by all means She-Hulk can go and smash them. I'm betting She-Hulk, Abomination's crew, Hulk versus Titania, and versus any other person, versus the whole Wrecking Crew, versus every other person on Todd's team. I bet it's the Hulks versus the Intellengincia and Titania. And if that's not the case, then by all means, I don't know what to say, because She-Hulk didn't really tease a villain at the end of it. It seems like maybe they were done with Titania, but maybe they aren't. Anyway, yeah. What's your thoughts? I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think? Who do you think is the real villain in this story? Is it Titania? Is it Todd? Is it the leader? Is it Abomination? Is it the crew of Abomination? Do you think that Abomination and his crew will come back in the finale to help Jennifer out? Do you think that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk will return and help Jennifer out? What do you think that the conclusion of the show would be? Some are saying that they want it to be a season 2, and I'm down for that. Because they can learn many of their wrongs that they've done in this show and make it better in season 2. They can make the show longer. I heard rumors earlier in 2020 that this show was going to be 10 episodes long, and they cut an episode out. I would be so down if they make a season 2, they make it a 10 episode series, 11, 12, make it 15 make it a long episode count. I wouldn't mind if I'm here knowing that for 10 weeks I'll be sitting here watching She-Hulk season 2. I wouldn't mind. Would I want a She-Hulk season 2? I'm down for that if they have a longer episode count. And if they learn their lesson from this season, with all the all the bad negativity that they've got to the show, if they can hear that, then yeah, by all means. And I did hear a video about how they talked about it being their season 1, and how some other shows speak of it as a season finale, or as as something else, not teasing a season 2. I believe She-Hulk can be that show that teases a season 2. If anything, if there's no important post-credit scene at the end of She-Hulk episode 9, I think the only post-credit scene that we can get as fans is a confirmation of the season 2. And if that is the case, then yeah, by all means. You should keep that 10 episode count. Don't reduce it by 1. In fact, add another 10. Add another 5. I'm saying they have to extend the story. Because they've now ended episode 8 before the finale with no villain teased. At least if they go and have like a 12 episode series in season 2, at least maybe by episode 8, by this time, episode 8 or episode 9, they can tease the villain of the story. That'll make our hero have to come to terms with being a hero more and be prepared to fight this villain, you know? But that's my thought. Personally, I would want a season 2, but a longer length. They did have 10 episodes, you know, for this show, but they cut out 1. So I'm hoping that they do make a season 2 with 10 episodes, and with that they can maybe, I don't care if it's 30 minutes long, because I don't mind the style of the length of the show, just the length of the count of the episodes. If they had 10 episodes, this one, then by all means we could walk into episode 9 and they could tease the villain there, and then episode 10 could be the finale. They kind of tease the villain, the Intellengincia, but we don't know who they are. That's what I'm saying, that they could have teased them at the end of that post-credit scene, maybe. I'm just saying, She-Hulk season 2, if it happens, 10 episodes. What's your thought on the last episode being a very confusing episode for most fans? What are your thoughts? How did episode 8, you know, the ending, how did it impact on you? Did you feel like you're gonna, you know, feel bored in the final episode? Some people I heard online were saying that this better be a 45-minute finale, and I'm like, yeah, it better be actually. But will it? Probably won't. What's your thoughts on the finale? Who do you think is the villain? Do you think it's Todd? Do you think it's, you know, Titania, the leader, Abomination? I want to hear your thoughts down below. And yeah, or at least try and be hyped, at least by Wednesday night, or Wednesday by, at least let's be hyped by next week for the finale of She-Hulk. Maybe you can change people's view. I'm betting that episode 8 will still be the best episode of the 9 episode series though, but yeah. Comments down below, let me hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching this video. And until She-Hulk comes out, I guess we just wait. So thanks so much. Bye bye.